Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Fat Buddha Fitness. I am ChesterMonkeyMagic, and like probably many of you, I am in coronavirus lockdown. Now, in coronavirus lockdown, it can get a little bit boring, and also if you're not allowed or not able to get outside and exercise, you might lose your great conditioning and shape. And that's what I'm here for. It's to show you a series of coronavirus series of workouts to do inside to keep yourself in great shape during this difficult period. So I'm going to start with the first one, which will be a warm-up routine, because that is obviously the most important. Before you start exercising, you need to do a warm-up. All these workouts in this series will be 15 minutes, so let's get started with a 15-minute warm-up, starting on your back. First exercise is called pelvic rotation. So what you do is you curl up your pelvis towards yourself, curl it back, and then curl it the other way. So curl that way and curl the other way. And you just keep doing that for 1 minute. There's going to be 15 different exercises. Each one you're going to do for a minute. The reason we do this one is because when you get warm, the main thing to start by warming up is your core, your hips, your lower back, your core area. Very important to get that loose, so that, loose and warm, so that that central part of your body is ready to go when you start the full-on exercise. So, not too fast, just roll it up, back, and there we go, that's 1 minute. Now, same thing, you roll up, but this time you go all the way up into a reverse plank, and then roll it back down. The thing to do here is to roll it up one vertebra at a time, and then roll back down one vertebra at a time. The trickiest bit will be, if you're not used to doing it and you've never done it before, will be to roll the pelvis rather than just come down in a thud. But with a bit of practice, it becomes a bit easier. When I was first trying this one, I was curling my pelvis the wrong way when I'd get back all the way down. So you just have to keep concentrating on rolling up the spine and then down the spine, and then flatten it. So what we're doing here, after first of all loosening up the pelvis area, the hips, now we loosen up the spine. Next one, you're going to lift your knees up to your chest, one at a time, and then give them a little bit of a squeeze. Okay, now you can do this with your feet flat on the floor, as I'm doing here. This is a bit easier on the lower back, or you can stretch out the legs and bring them up like this. The main thing is that you're doing each leg individually, so that you're loosening up the two sides separately. Also, when you're doing it this way, you're lifting up your own leg. It's a very light exercise, but it is actually going to be slightly tougher in terms of the amount of physical effort you're doing. Now, feet flat on the ground, you're now going to collapse your knees to the side, trying to keep your shoulders pinned to the floor. Now, normally you would collapse your knees to the floor. Unfortunately, I have these little ledges on both sides, so they can only go to here and to here. But you would actually go all the way down to the flat surface. But even with this slightly reduced movement, you're still getting that rotation in the hips and in the lower back, and of course the spine, which is loosening it up, warming it up, and yes, getting yourself ready for whatever exercises you're going to do. If you're going to be moving the lower body or the core area, then very important that you get this loose, warm, and ready to go. Next one, bring your knees up, and you can start off by rocking side to side, or even backwards and forwards. The one I like to do is the circles. So you just circle a few times around one way and then a few times around the other way. Again, this is particularly good for the lower back. Those of you who are regulars visiting Fat Buddha Fitness, you'll know I've had lower back problems for many years, and therefore very keen and diligent in keeping that area of the body nicely warmed up before exercising and strengthening it as well. It's a vital part of the body, obviously. Right. Now, put your feet down. You're now going to twist and stretch across your body with each arm. You can come up onto your toes as well as you're doing it. That was a noisy one. So basically, you come up onto your shoulder and twist across your body. You can also do it as you twist with the left hand, you stick the right leg out. As you twist with the right, you stick the left leg out. Or you can just keep your feet on the ground and go like this. Oh. This is going to warm up your shoulders and also your core, because you'll be twisting. The next one, I'll spin around a bit. Put your hands, fingers facing backwards behind you. Come up, your bottom off the ground, and move your bottom in towards your heels. Okay, you can stretch your feet away depending on how loose your shoulders are. Mine are a bit tight. Had operations on both of them. But basically, you're just going to swing, and it's going to just ease a bit of a stretch into your shoulders. Don't do it too aggressively. Do it with control. Keep your bottom just skimming along the ground, and you're just rocking to and fro. You should feel, particularly in the front of the shoulders, a bit of a stretch. Then sit with your legs out in front of you, and you're now to stretch up with one hand, stretch up with the other hand, stretch up with both. But all the while trying to keep your back as straight as possible. No hunching the back, no leaning into it either way, no leaning backwards, for example, to get your arms up. No, you've got to bring up that arm, straight arm right up to your ear, and then both together. And this again is working your shoulders a little bit. And also starting to work your lower back, because you're having to hold yourself upright. Again, do it with control, not too fast. Now we flip over onto all fours, and we're going to do what's known as the cat-cow. So you arch your back one way, looking up, and then you arch it the other way, bring your head between your hands. Arch up, and roll, arch it the other way. Nice and slowly. This is very important for loosening up your spine. Very good exercise for flexibility in the back. You should feel your shoulder blades moving as you do it. Going back as far as you can, and then going forward as far as you can. In this position now, opposite arm and opposite leg stretch out. Oh, right into the palm pot there. This is called the bird dog. So you just lift up until they're horizontal, the opposite arm and opposite leg. Now this is going to start to feel more like exercise. It's going to start to get you warmer, working your glutes, your hamstrings, shoulders again. And because it's slightly more difficult in terms of the effort you have to put in, it's going to get you warmer quicker. But obviously, as we're doing a warm-up, that's very important. By the end of it, you feel warm, as well as having the different parts of your body nice and loose. Now from here, we're going to go up into downward facing dog, which is a yoga move. And then you're going to stretch one foot across the opposite hip, put it back down. Keeping both hands on the ground, you're going to open up the hips this way. So it's getting a bit of a twist going. Also working your shoulders because you're in a position where there's weight coming down on your upper body. Obviously, if you've got a bit more room, you can go a bit further. I'm slightly limited by the balcony. Now, from downward facing dog, you're going to come into a lunge and stretch up and feel a bit of a stretch in the front of the hip. Hands back down. Now the opposite leg. Stretch into that front of the hip. Always go back into downward facing dog and then lunge, lean into it. Good to get this stretch in the front of the hip, and also in the glutes as well here. Particularly if you're going to do a leg workout, you want to get that part of your body nice and ready. Now, step forward from here into a forward fold. Your hands on your feet, come down into a deep squat, and then stand back up into a forward fold. Down into a deep squat, back up into a forward fold. Let's come back, show you a bit more room. So, getting a good stretch in the lower back, a little bit in the hamstrings. Don't straighten your legs too aggressively, and if you can't straighten them fully, then don't. Leave your knees slightly bent. Here, get your head up as you come down. Come down into a deep squat, head up. And you should feel here, get your shoulders back. Now, we'll do twists. I don't have the most flexibility here. What you do is you hold your opposite foot, then you twist your elbow and your head. So try and look over your shoulder. Do a few on one side, do a hand on the opposite foot, and then do a few on the other side. Twisting the upper body here, whilst also getting a good stretch in the pelvic area, in the hips, opening them up. Some people are a lot more flexible than me and can get this elbow right up in the air, vertical. I can't. I don't have either the flexibility in the shoulders or in the lower back to twist enough. But still, you go as far as you can, and it's a good stretch. And now, to finish off with, and down onto your knees into what's called child pose, and then come forward into the cobra. Back into child pose, and into the cobra. Nice and slowly, because you're contracting your muscles in the lower back and in the abs one way and then the other. So you don't want to rush it. You can either, as you come forward, if that's too difficult for you, you can stay on this part of your arms, come back, come here. Otherwise, use the straight arms, either with your knees wide apart or close together. It's all the same. And there you go, 15 minutes of warm-up, Fat Buddha Fitness style, to get you ready for your workouts. And starting tomorrow, I shall bring you some 15-minute home workouts that you can do under coronavirus lockdown. It's going to keep you going, keep your mind sane, very important for mental health, keep your body physically active, in good shape, in good health, eat healthy as well, and stay at home, stay safe, and let's get over this thing. I'm of course ChesterMonkeyMagic. Many thanks to Ravishing Rena for her filming. This is Fat Buddha Fitness. Amituofo.